Hi all, Sam here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to encapsulate a rose. I'm going to be using pink lace for the base colour, and I'm going to be using princess and white diamonds for the rose. I'm using all CJP products today, but you can use whatever you feel. When I do acrylic design on a customer, I like to put a thin layer of birthday suit or crystal glass down, just so that when they come back and they want to redesign, I don't have to go all the way down to the nail. I don't have to sew them off. I can just file it straight down to that base coat that I've put on. Also, sometimes when you're using different acrylics, you will need a structure as well, whereas some of the designs, well, all the design powders, they've not got any strength in them, so you will need that. Instead of capping, which I will be doing as well, you can just put a base down. So this is the base. I'm not going to play about with it too much because I will be capping off later, and most of the time you don't need to put too much of a big layer down, otherwise you'll end up with big chunky nails, and nobody wants chunky nails. Okay, so I've done that. I'm just going to add a little bit more on the tip because it looks a bit see-through there. I'm probably working a little bit too wet today, but you know, these things happen. I'm going to wait that to dry. Obviously, if you was doing it on a client, you'd be onto the next finger, should I say. Once that's pretty much dry, as you can see, it's still quite shiny. Really should have done it slightly drier. As you know, or you may not know, CJP is a dryer system, so it is best used dry. I'm going now, as it's pretty much, well, we're getting there, but it's dry enough now for me to put my base colour down. This is a design powder, so you need it a little bit wetter, and you need the tiniest amount, and it goes a very, very long way. You don't need to put this on thick because it's not going to be structure. I'm just brushing it on. I think I would have worked a little bit neater on a customer, but this is not my customer. Not that I should say that when I'm trying to teach you how to do it. I'm just going to add a little bit on the bottom, just so it covers all the nail and we've got a nice colour. These are very highly pigmented, so you don't really need a lot. I do feel there's a little bit needed there. Right, now once that's dry, we'll then go on to the rose. When you're doing a 3D rose, you need to be quite patient because it's all to do with letting it dry before you move it, but not letting it dry too much. Unfortunately, my sister has been playing with my equipment and she's ruined my brush, as she ruins everybody's. I'm going to pick up a bit of white diamonds. I'm going to pick up a little bit of princess, and I'm going to pop it on where I want it. I'll then part it, as that's how I like to do my roses. I'll part it, so that will make my first petal. Hope you can see. Once that's dried, I have got quite a a hot lamp above me, so it's drying quite quick. I'm going to pat it out into my desired shape, and then I'm going to add another. I'm going to let it dry. You can see that it's quite shiny. When the shine goes, that's about the time when you need to move it. It's going more matte now. So once it's matte, as you can see, I will then move it. Please make sure you don't let it go too matte, otherwise it will be too dry and you won't be able to move it at all. Oops, let's get another one. As you can see, moving it again, making it into my petal. Doesn't have to be perfect because your other petals will cover it. There we go, there's our base done. And I'm going to pick up another. I'm going to build the next layer, but I will put it in between where the join is of that one. And I'm going to do it slightly smaller this time. This time I'm not going to make it as flat, although I do need it a little bit flatter than a normal 3D rose because I will be encapsulating it. So there's that. I do like to drain the excess liquid out of my brush when doing this so that it dries slightly quicker. As you can see, using the two colours, you get a nice ombre effect into your flower. Just gives it a bit more definition. If you just use the one colour, it would be just as nice, but I like to use two colours. And we keep going until we feel that we've finished. I think I'm going to put one more there and then I will do the centerpiece. There we go, there's that. Now I'm going to do my centerpiece, which is slightly different. What I do is I pick up the two colours as usual, pop it in the middle. I'll wait for that to go more matte. Once I feel it's going matte, I'm then going to make a hole in the middle, and that's my flower done. I do like to finish it off with crystal, so what I'm going to do is put a tiny bit of crystal glass in the middle so it's clear. I'm going to pick up a small crystal. I'm going to pop it in the middle. Oops, 2. I'm going to pop it in the middle and then I'm going to pat it in. So there's my rose finish. Once you've finished your rose, you then need to cap it in clear. I choose CJP clear crystal glass. The reason I do is because I find it's extremely clear. It's beautiful to use. So although CJP is used quite dry, I find when capping 3D things, I like to use it a bit wet, although that's not really that wet. So I'm going to place it on. I'm going to make sure that my rose is a little bit wet so that there's no air bubbles, and if there is, I'm going to pat them out. I am then going all over the rose. I'm just building it up in little sections so I don't put too much on and then have air bubbles in between the bits that are sticking up and the bits that's going over the top. Unfortunately, because it is quite a big rose, they are slightly thicker than you would usually do a nail, but to get the beautifully designed that you want, we sometimes have to sacrifice. I've noticed I've missed a little bit at the top. We don't want to be filing away any of the colour because it's only thin, so I'll add a little bit more there. Also, looking from the side, it's slightly dipped in, so I'm going to fill it in slightly more. Once you've capped it in clear, you wait for it to dry completely and then you do your normal finishing. Once you file it down, not too much over your rose, you don't want to be taking too much over your clear off. If you build it in the area where your apex should be, you've got a ready-made apex. And there you go. There's your encapsulated rose. We'll let that dry for a short time now. I might put it under the light just to speed it up slightly because it's not a customer, it's just a nail tip. If you're working on a customer, then you would just carry on with the next nails and then come back to it as usual when you're finished. I'm just tapping it to see if it's done. It's not completely done. It ain't far off, but I'm gonna give it a shake. I've now misplaced my buffer. Please excuse the squeaky chair. And no way should I be doing this with my lids open, so I've messed up slightly there. A little bit too late now, so I'm going to finish off with a no white top coat, and we'll watch the magic come alive. And there you have your beautiful encapsulated rose, done with using all CJP.